So how wonderful to be with you all on this glorious day here, anyway, up in Grand Marais. I just want to acknowledge all of us that are going through so much at this time, such an intense time and yet glorious time on so many levels. And I was looking at the monthly theme and the conscious activism, and it brings a lot of things to mind, but the main energy here is the consciousness, you choosing consciously to come back to yourself, that active choice that we have right now to shift the way we are within ourselves. And we see so much energy out in the world, a lot of division, upheaval, a lot of turmoil. And all it's doing is mirroring the parts of ourselves that are in separation, of what we have chosen to hold within ourselves that keeps this separation element actively engaged in our own lives, within our own hearts. And I love the energy right now. We have right now with me, I feel the very strong presence of Mother Mary and the Christ energy. And it really touches me. I am always consciously aligning to that frequency of that self-resurrection energy that the Christ brings to support us right now, to actively and consciously choose to move ourselves off the cross, that we have each put ourselves on this cross. And part of our mission at this time is that self-resurrection energy. But it takes conscious choice and conscious action. And what I love about this time is that we have the pandemic that's creating a lot of turmoil, a lot of upheaval within our country, a lot of division, a lot of energy. But understanding that this pandemic is here as destiny. It's a destiny moment that was always going to happen at this time. But simultaneous to the pandemic is this incredible anchoring of God light, this network grid that is anchored onto the earth plane in order to allow us to consciously resurrect ourselves on a very different level than ever before. So this is really a glorious time, and it depends on what you choose for yourself moment by moment. So it's about opening up to each moment, understanding we're not going to do it perfectly. We are perfectly imperfect in our humanity. We have to remember that. This component of our human nature, of our ego minds. We have our humanity, we have our sacred nature. And this is the time, what I see as conscious activism of engaging to the sacred part of our aspect and start to align into our hearts and allow a very conscious self-resurrection process to take place. We have the perfect scenario energetically because the God light in this network grid that's interwoven through the earth plane right now is building daily. And it's accelerating as we move towards the end of this year. So there's an energetic platform in place of God light that you are a part of for you to consciously move towards. And you do that through the space of your own heart. And it's about looking inside yourself and seeing what parts of you, of your ego mind, your human self, that is holding this self-judgment, the guilt, the shame, the story of the misperception of the ego mind. That's what it is. It's the misperception of your ego mind that does not understand anything but third dimensional illusion and the drama, which we've lived out for lifetimes. But this is the challenge right now for you, for me, is to shift the separation that we are perpetuating on ourselves, the internal war that's being mirrored out in the world right now in our lives. So we carry the mirror inside of us. We are the mirror of that separation. And how much are you willing to actively choose to shift and change the dynamic that's inside of you, to allow the sacred part of yourself to emerge, and to allow the breaking down of that which you have inside of you, of placing yourself on a cross of self-condemnation. And my story and my first direct experience of Jesus Christ was such a profound one, of being actually in Israel at the Sea of Galilee, standing by the seashore, being directed down to the seashore by my guidance. And as I stood at that seashore, at the Sea of Galilee, I got to see the form of Jesus Christ walking across the water towards me. It was a glorious moment. And as he drew closer, the light and the love of Christ filled me. I could feel the love. It was overwhelming, and I fell to my knees just sobbing. I was overwhelmed by the love and the presence of him. And as he came to stand beside me, it was like his words were so different than what I expected, because I was expecting these loving words, these soft words from him. And it was like, when are you going to take yourself off the cross? You've placed yourself on a cross. So when are you going to take yourself down? But his words echoed that truth that I understood and knew in that moment, that I was holding so much against myself for my past, for the things that my ego mind had judged me as guilty, the shame, the guilt. And he stayed with me and spoke to me about the self-love, that I had come here to evolve into a self-love and to take myself off the cross as part of my journey. Part of my mission was self-resurrection. And actually the mission of humanity on the earth plane in this lifetime is self-resurrection. That was the true beginning of me turning a corner in my life and deciding to just list everything I was holding against myself, from the time I was a little girl right through to that moment in time. And I started a self-resurrection process. And in my mind, of course, your ego mind is always on, always having this story, this idea, this plan that has nothing to do with reality, with truth. It's not based on truth. It's based on these misperceptions of trying to get it right, trying to do it perfectly. And as a human being, it's impossible for us to achieve this perfection. We're perfectly imperfect. And what I did discover in that journey that set me off that day with Christ, and he stayed with me, he taught me about love. He talked about my ministry in the world. and the importance of not trying to do things perfectly in order to be loved, which is what I was striving for. No, it was about doing the best I could in each moment in time and starting to understand my humanity, my imperfection, my idiosyncrasies, to love my imperfection. And in order to be enlightened, it wasn't about getting it perfectly, doing it perfectly. It was about accepting my imperfection and learning to love my humanity and love myself for all that I was, all that I had become from my journey, and hold myself with love and compassion and patience. I thought I had to work my way through the list of things, because I made a list of everything I was holding against myself. Thought, okay, I'm going to go right through this list and I'm going to change everything. That was my ego mind response of getting it right and doing it perfectly one more time. No, I found as I went to each thing on my list and understood the truth that I had actually done the best I could in each moment. That knot, that tight knot inside of myself, the self-blame, the self-judgment, the guilt, the shame of not being enough, started to fall away, just started to loosen. As I touched on each piece of my self-judgment and just use that conscious breath, which is in and out the mouth, just letting go, just letting go. Yes, I'm willing to let go. Yes, I'm willing to receive my light. As I let go of the self-judgment and just understood my imperfection and brought the love and compassion and patience to myself, that ball of separation inside of myself just started to loosen. It was a letting go of everything that I had tried so hard to achieve as a human being and couldn't get it right. And that's what this time's about right now. It's about just witnessing where you are holding things against yourself. The way you're striving to try and get it right, try and do it perfectly. Where you do hold that guilt and shame about not doing it perfectly, not getting it right, the choices you've made. There is no wrong choice. There's only the series of experiences that arise from the choices you do make. There's no wrong decisions, only decisions that create experience that you need for yourself. And just using that conscious breath in and out the mouth, just to let go, and release those burdens of responsibility that your ego mind has said you're responsible for. That illusion. The burdens you're carrying that you're responsible for other people when everyone is responsible for themselves. The holding on to being a victim and to being right and getting it right. So much exhaustion in doing that. Instead of just taking a conscious breath and letting go and holding yourself with actually admiration for your courage of actually being on this journey in this lifetime. It's not easy. The aloneness, the struggle that we've been through, that constant trying And we all have our story, not one more than the other. We've all suffered, not one more than the other, just different. But you're not your story. That too is the illusion. Let's take one more conscious breath together. And calm together in this really space of celebration. Because we can let go. We can do it differently. Yes, we'll still have moments of holding on like this to trying to get it right, because that's just our humanity. But we need to learn to let go, take a breath, and not take everything so seriously. Understanding how the illusion plays out in our day-to-day living. All the drama, the holding on, the attachment for something to be this way or that way, to let go and allow the fluid state of the light to come into our lives that we are in our hearts. There's nothing we have to be afraid of. Fear is just the illusion of just the ego mind's misperception. So it sets up this fear going that grips us at times where we can hardly breathe. And this time, the drama creating a lot of fear, a lot of illusion for us. And how much are you willing to just let go and witness that fear, witness the drama, and choosing consciously to actively, consciously engage in your heart? Because it's through the heart that truth can be revealed to you. That is where the reality exists, where truth and light exists. Your own light, your own vastness of the unlimited potential for your life, where you can set in motion another pathway, a pathway of truth for yourself right now. This is the time for self-realization, self-actualization. Yes, your own heart gives you the direct experience of light, of love, of unlimited potential for you to start shifting and creating in your life that which you need, your heart's desire. That is conscious activism. That's what I see it as. And that energy, that essence is waiting for you. You see, just beyond the veil, the sacred part of yourself is fully intact, waiting for you to actively engage. And that's through your heart that you link into that space and start to move into that self-actualized process of moments of your sacred, of your unlimited potential, where you start to be able to access your heart's desire. And I know there are many of you out there that are having a tough time in the third dimensional realm. The COVID has taken away people's jobs, your ability to feel secure. And I understand the fear that arises from the ego mind with change, uncertainty. But the heart space is where the peace and the stability can be reestablished in your life, where you can start linking in and engaging directly with the sacred part of yourself, which is multidimensional. Your heart is your multidimensional tool. You are a multidimensional being. And the energy on the planet right now has set in motion this new platform for you to reconnect into this sacred part of yourself, into self-realization of the light that you are. and to start to establish that pure experience within your day-to-day living. That's part of the destiny too, not just for the COVID, but for your own awakening and starting to utilize and consciously be self-empowered through your multidimensional heart. This is your conscious choice, actively engaging. And it's not about doing it perfectly. Then your ego mind will say, okay, let's go into the heart and I'm just going to be in there and change everything. That's not going to happen. And it's not going to happen because you have your human element. And you'll have moments of direct experience of being in separation again, being in the fear. You're not going to be able to do it perfectly. But the good news is you don't need to. This is what it's about. It's not taking anything too seriously. Moments in your heart, connecting into that multidimensional sacred part of yourself is enough to shift the old sabotaging cycles of limitation, of lack, of not having enough. You see, the ego mind believes you're not worthy, that you don't deserve the love, you don't deserve the abundance. It doesn't accept your own multidimensional part of yourself. It doesn't know about that. It cannot move beyond the limitation of third dimensional drama. It will never validate you in your heart because it can't. This is an important thing to understand. You have your ego mind that cannot engage with your multidimensional heart. You have your sacred nature that is multidimensional. So your ego mind is always going to have a comment about and invalidating your experience of your sacred space. It doesn't mean it's not real. It just means your ego mind does not have that potential. It will always break down your experience of your sacred, of your own heart. So understanding that dynamic, while you're in your heart, in your multidimensional experience, you're going to have your ego mind chattering away, negating the experience as it takes place. You can expect that. The good news is the ego mind cannot influence your experience in your multidimensional heart. It cannot truly interfere with that experience. It can chatter, but let it chatter and still then go into your multidimensional experience. You have the ability as a multidimensional being to multiplex, which means you can have more than two experiences at the same time. So your ego mind can be chattering away, negating your experience while you're having it. And all you need to do is let your awareness go deeper into your heart, into that experience. Use the conscious breath, which is the breath in and out the mouth. And that conscious breath bypasses the ego mind. It moves you into the space of your heart, into the space of peace, truth, love, multidimensionality, into your abundance. It allows you to stabilize in that light that you are, coming home to yourself. And as you use the conscious breath and let your awareness open through your heart space, then you align deeper into the multidimensional energy of your heart. As you do that, every cell in your body transforms. It starts to expand and shift the old density of the old sabotaging patterns in your life that have kept you in limitation, in lack, in a belief that you're not okay, that you don't deserve the abundance, you don't deserve the love. So you reach in. Only you can reach into your heart and consciously engage with your abundance to actually activate that abundance in your life, in your day-to-day living. It's about you saying, yes, I'm willing to let go. And it's about letting go for one moment in time, not doing it perfectly, because that's not going to happen. But for every moment you align into your heart and actively align to the path of truth, you start to build and re-engage with the sacred multidimensional aspect of yourself, of who you are in that light. And that starts to actively engage through your life. So that if you begin for even 5 minutes in your heart at the beginning of the day, you forge a pathway because you link into the unlimited flow of light that you are, and allow it to start allowing that flow of light, that creative light, through the day that you're about to live, so that you're not alone, that you have that flow, that current of light to support you in your day, to allow things to flow, for new doorways to open. So you begin to activate a pathway of flow for the manifestation for yourself, for your life in that day, to achieve what it is you need for your heart's desire, whether it be finances, whether it needs, you have a project, a work project, but it allows a new flow to come into your day-to-day moments. And then throughout the day, if you place your hand on your heart and take a conscious breath, just for one moment, it brings you back into that state of connection, into your own power, and allows the light, the sacred light, to shine and fortify you. Let's take one more conscious breath in right now, and take one more breath and just let go. And so you create a new building block for your life, a new platform that is based on truth, on peace, for yourself in your life. The network energy of God light that is anchored across the planet, and it's anchored since February this year, is building daily, and it's here to support you in this new building of a new platform for yourself. It's about you consciously and actively creating this new platform for your life, for your way of living. And it's not, as I said, done perfectly. It's moment by moment. It takes one moment to begin that platform form for your life, for yourself, for your own living, for your own well-being, that supports the nutrition of the cells in your physical body. It supports your emotional well-being and your physical and spiritual well-being. It starts to engage and build a light around your energetic field, allowing another level of the sacred of yourself to engage not only through your energetic field, but through every cell in this physical body. You become a reconnection to the natural transmitter of light that you are as a multidimensional being. This is a sacred time, a sacred journey for each one of us. For you, for me, each one of you carries the sacred divine component of the light, unique, like no one else in the entire universe. You hold this frequency of sacred that you are. You activate the divine component of your own sacred divine signature of God light as you engage through your heart, which is the full chest area, and bring your awareness there just for one moment of time. You start to actively engage, and every cell in your heart that holds the transmitter of God light that you are begins to pulse. It's like your heart begins to have a new sacred heartbeat. Every cell in your heart, every transmitter in your heart cell gets switched on, like turning a light switch. It goes on. It engages through the cells of your brain, through your telepathic center, through the brain synapses, down through the spinal fluid, into the sacrum. You flip your sacred system on. Every moment you choose to hold your heart, use the conscious breath, and activate this platform of light that you are. Understanding through this conscious activism within your sacred system of your physical body, we, each one of us, can connect through the telepathic communion center. This is part of the sacred design that we've been called to create on earth between us. And you as a community of people, we as a community of people, because I am part of this community and have been for some time now, we can come together through our hearts, through this communion of our telepathic centers, which is being switched on as we actively choose to engage through the heart. We can begin to open and create this collective energy of light that is necessary for the earth plane right now, to create a stabilization and balance between us of light for humanity across the earth plane. Our heart spaces, as we activate and work through the heart and align to our sacred natures, is linking into the magnetic core of the earth. The earth plane, Earth's magnetic core is transforming right now. As we speak, right now it's transformed. And the magnetic core is uniquely linked into your heart space, into your own unique divine God consciousness. So as you align to your heart, the magnetic core is pulsing an energy into your heart cells. This network of magnetic grid of God light that is across the planet is also carrying all the unique divine signatures of God light that exists within each one of us. So we are also linking in and being linked into this huge network of God light that is building daily across the earth plane. This network is also linked into all the sacred sites and also all the crop circles within the earth plane. So there is this huge network that we are a part, and every cell in our heart is being linked, relinked into this setting, like we fit, like a jigsaw piece going into a jigsaw puzzle. Your unique divine signature of your heart has a place within the network grid that fits perfectly. And the network grid is crystalline in nature. Your heart cells are crystalline in nature. As you actively engage to activate and align to the sacred part of yourself, the crystalline frequency in your heart starts to light up. That is the platform. Your crystalline platform within your body, within your energetic field, within your brain cells is being switched on, lit up. It's right through your spinal fluid, right through the spinal column into the sacrum. And this energy, this essence, this sacred part of yourself is here for you to transform. Only you can transform here. You're the only one who can choose your sacred realignments, that can activate it and choose to bring the sacred component of yourself into your life now, which will support your human aspect, because it brings a quality of love that your human part requires. It needs the love for self-healing, for this self-resolution, for the suffering that you have gone through as a human being, for the little girl or boy inside of yourself needs that love, needs the fortification of the love. The sacred design of each one of us, the sacred mission is self-resurrection and bringing the love of our sacred to our human part to change the relationship we have with our own humanity. You are the only one that can activate this. It is up to each one of us to allow our own self-resurrection. It's not calling it forward and asking for help. It's saying, yes, I choose to step forward and engage with my sacred component. And I choose to take myself off the cross. I've suffered enough. How long do you allow the suffering to continue in your life? How long do you choose to blame yourself and hold things against yourself when you've done the very best you could in each moment in time? It's enough now, that suffering. The limitation of the misperception of the ego mind that keeps us very small and insignificant in our lives. This is the time to unwrap the gift of the sacred component of yourself within your heart. This is your time to shine and to shine forth your light in the world. This is our destiny path. We have said yes to doing this at this time. We have said yes to being here to allow the transformation of our planet. Now, yes, we have the beautiful spiritual realms, the masters, the light beings, the angels, the Pleiadians, the galactic community here supporting us. They've set up so many energetic frameworks. They're holding the stabilization of the grid steady for us. But the fact is that we, those of us in human bodies on this earth plane, are the only ones to set in motion the transmutation of planet Earth into a higher consciousness planet. And we have said yes to doing that. Those of us that are conscious are the ones, we are the way showers. We are to come together to collectively. We are to individually step forward and saying, yes, I am activating my heart now. I'm coming home to the sacred that I am. It's through us saying yes, and it's only us who can say yes to setting this in motion together. To bring the love, to birth the love of the truth and anchor it here on this earth plane. And I know you can look out and look at the drama and the illusion that's going on our planet. And we can go, whoa, this is so intense. It feels like if you look at it a certain way from an ego mind perspective, that the dark energy is winning. No, it's not. It's just the drama and the illusion of this time, which was always going to happen right now. Always. The truth is that it is our time to collectively activate the light that we are and to come together as a community in the communion of light that we are and reactivate the sacred components of communion on earth, to allow the light of truth and love to shine forth from within ourselves. We are enough. Just you and me together, we make the difference. And this is what we're being asked to do at this time. Not to get caught up ultimately in all the drama. Having moments, yes, of separation. We can have our moments. That's okay. But the moments we choose to align into the light of truth of our own hearts, that's conscious activism as far as I'm concerned. That is the true power of each one of us. We have unlimited power within our hearts. And that unlimited power of activation of our light is what creates the power of the collective for change, for permanent change of consciousness of planet Earth. And that is what we're to do in this lifetime. And the Pleiadians say we will be successful in this. Don't let the illusion and the drama overshadow truth. The power of truth, the power of the light. But each one of us has to choose moments to engage. One moment of engaging in the light creates a ripple across the earth plane, touching all of humanity. And as I said, the collective energy of what we can forge together is everything right now. But what I want you to focus is on not saving humanity, because humanity does not need saving. Everyone's having their experience and it's perfect in the moment. There is no wrong experience. But to rather to focus in on the sacred doorway of your own heart and allow the building and the engagement of the sacred that you are. That is where the focus is. Not outwards, but inwards. This is the doorway home. And as you engage through that doorway home, you create a powerful anchor for the changes. So the focus must be here within yourself. Within your heart, you hold and align to the very center of the universe. Everything arises within the very central place of your own hearts. And it's about keeping that focus within yourself, within your own heart, and being dedicated moments of your heart, within your heart. for the arising of your own sacred light and aligning to that truth. That's the focus. And then opening up to the vulnerability of your own humanity, holding yourself with love, compassion, and patience, bringing yourself, that child, that inner child, the little girl, the little boy, into your heart. The action of self-forgiveness, except self-forgiveness is the wrong word, because there's nothing you have to forgive yourself for, because there has been no wrong decision, no wrong choices made, just the creation of the experiences that you needed in order to learn. And if you're holding anything as a victim, like I was a victim, this was done to me, that is a total incorrect assessment and misperception of your ego mind. Because you were never a victim. You had pre-agreements with other human beings, your family members. You brought them in as a player on the stage. They played their role out perfectly, and so did you. We've needed each other to play out the different experiences. So if you're holding on to that victim mode, take a good look and explore why you need to hold on to that. In what way is that serving you right now to be the victim? Take responsibility for your own creation in your life. Everything that you have created has been your creation, perfectly created for your own experience. And that has brought you to everything that you are in this moment of time. You need to celebrate the series of experiences that you have created, the perfect creation for the perfect experience. And be willing to let go. Not holding on in the need to be right, but to let go and allow the vastness of the light of your own heart to move you and align you to truth. To let go of any separating element that's within you, that you are perpetuating, that internal war. Take responsibility for the wars you've created, for everything you've created in your life right now. It's the perfect creation. Look around and see what's going on in your life, whether it's lack or a bad relationship, or this aloneness, the struggle, the suffering. How much longer do you need to hold on to the suffering, to allow the suffering through you? Suffering is just the misperception of the ego mind, of you holding on to something that you believe yourself to be right, or the truth, your truth. How is it serving you right now to hold so tightly to what you're holding onto as far as this is my truth? That's the ego mind's need to validate. It's about letting go, coming home to yourself within your heart, to choose differently for yourself, on behalf of yourself. That choice is only a heart choice. That is where truth, where love exists, where you can allow yourself to come home to love, to truth, to stability, to peace? How much are you willing to allow yourself to receive right now through your heart? And how much are you allowing yourself to move off that cross that you have placed yourself on? No one else has done that. You've chosen the self-condemnation, the belief that you're wrong. Only you can put yourself on the cross. And only you can take yourself off the cross. We have the strong energy of Jesus Christ on the planet right now to help us with our self-resurrection process. We have Mother Mary here on the earth plane in a very high frequency role, bringing the love to support us in being able to digest, to receive the love that exists here, to receive the blessings that are being bestowed back to us at this time. It's about surrendering to the ego, away from the ego mind, surrendering to your heart and choosing differently. Choosing on behalf of yourself. You can do this now. And we collectively can bring this communion, activate this communion together. Each one of us can arise from our hearts and shine the light out onto the earth plane from the heart space. So much beauty here. So much glorious homecoming that we can engage to return to the light that we are, to allow ourselves that returning, to end that internal war. Let's take one more conscious breath. Put a hand on your heart and just breathe and let go. Just feel the warmth, the pressure of your hand on your heart. Take that conscious breath and just let go. Let go. All that holding. We just have to witness ourselves, how we want to hold on to that ego mind that wants to be right, that perpetuates the separation of ourselves from the light that we are. I'm going to hold a very strong platform of light and love out to each one of you. But why don't we energetically now just come into the sanctuary where we hold each other's hands and form that circle. Energetically, we can all come into the sanctuary now and just open our awareness to align to that union, the sacred communion that we are, the light that we are, and come together in that strength. Knowing we're not alone. Yes, we have that interconnection with each other that has not gone, that is still strong and alive. Let's form that circle in the sanctuary. Just taking that conscious breath and just letting go. I'm going to bring in the sound and just form that circle connection that supports each one of us in our lives. Akoshata ine a. Eshe om dai ine I. Eshe om, eshe om, eshe o. I'm going to bring in these sounds. I want you just to breathe, open your awareness, let go as you align your heart into this circle within our sanctuary. Akoshata ine a. Eshe om, eshe om, eshe om. And feeling the essence of the blessing coming down through our circle. That's it. Take another conscious breath and just let go. Ashata ine a. Eshe om, eshe om, eshe om. That's it. Just taking another conscious breath and just letting go. That's great. I just want to honor each one of you and all that you are in this moment. So be it.